Okay, so we're going to be working on our collage project. We're going to first start by looking at what fruit and vegetable we're going to choose. And we're going to start with looking at outlines. So in the books, the students investigated outlining fruit pictures and then creating their drawings in their books, their sketches. You can see that some students find it difficult. They're using their sketching ideas rather than single lines. You can see the shapes are better when explained. We also outline the fruit in the permanent markers to focus on outline so that we can start to do this bigger on an A3 size piece of paper. So I just thought I'd show you some of the children's work because I think we need to differentiate between whether a student's going to use an already made outline, or if a student's going to use an actual picture, or if they're going to draw from the actual fruit. You can see that maybe this student needs to have an outline already made for them. It's just different levels of drawing skills, but collage is now the focus. So that's what we want to focus on. Whereas this student, it's quite good. It's the same kind of size, looking at that. It's up to you where you go with it. You might want to get the students working on the collage, so you use the outlines, or you might want the students to draw it. You can select what you think as the art teacher. Okay, so I've got some printed here A3. I've got one that I can draw from. You can either print these A3 and then set them out on the table so students can gather round and they can start drawing their version of the outline. Or you may actually select the A3 size photograph. You could print that, set it on the table, and students draw their large scale outline of that. Or you could even give the students this drawing, get them to outline it first in the black marker like they did in their books, and then they can actually start to collage on top of the image. So I really like the idea. I think I have a pear here. Yeah, because the pear's got lots of different colours. So you could get the student to outline the pear in the black permanent marker, and then using the pre-made or the made tiles that they're going to rip and make, they can start to use the sense of colour and colour connect with the overlapping magazine tiles. So that's up to you how you want to do that. I'm going to show you different ideas in different ways so that you can lead the lesson as you would like. Okay? So I'm first going to take the idea of using a fruit to inspire my drawing. Okay, so I'm going to use this orange here, and then I'm going to use my tiles here. So my orange, I'm going to first start to draw the big orange shape, so you can kind of see a little bit of that drawing. So what we can do now is the students can start to outline this with a permanent marker, always wanting to bring out the outlines. It's the same if they're going to use these images or these images, giving them a border or a boundary to work within when they're collaging, because we need to keep their collage tiles inside the shapes, otherwise you'll lose form, you'll lose that shape and it won't look like a piece of fruit. So you're going to get your permanent marker and you're going to demonstrate to the students outlining their lines. Okay, so now you can see the finished shapes that they're going to start working in, checking that they outline everything. Okay, and then we can start to build using tiles. So the next step is getting our tiles. We're using magazines. We've already made some cut tiles for you. Students can use these little cut shapes, which is fine, overlapping and putting different colours together, matching the colours to create the fruit surface. And all of these boxes should be down in the shared area for you for the art resources. The students are going to add, so they can start to spend time ripping up their colours. So they might take this pink girl, for example. You need to demonstrate this. Rip the page out before they begin. And then the students can simply start to rip the colours into matching areas. Okay, so using the glue sticks. Obviously mine's an orange, so I've got the image here. We need to focus on telling the students where the orange has changed. Is it the same colour orange the whole way over the image? Or are there lighter oranges, lighter coloured orange parts, whiter parts and dark orange parts. Really important to show that colour has tone, and this is a really good way to do this. So I'm going to be sticking down all these colours like this, and I'm probably going to stick as I go. So once I start the edge, I'm going to start by sticking these down. Okay, so we're part of the way done. I've finished the first orangey bit, looking at using lots of overlapping shapes and lots of different colours of orange too, working at the darker end of the orange, so getting more reds and darker oranges and gradually getting up to be a little bit lighter and not being afraid to, you know, mismatch and make a really cool texture in that. I decided with this bottom part of this orange, I decided to keep it all the same. It'll make it more distinct. So that's something you could teach the students, showing that you've got this distinct area and finding all the same kind of tiles. This middle part is a lighter kind of orangey yellow, so I'm going to mix the oranges and the yellows, and later I think I'll take, to make it a bit easier for us, take the permanent marker and maybe draw in some of those segments of the orange so that they really stand out. If you wanted to go more fancy, you could take the tearings or your cuts and you could cut them into more triangular kind of shapes, which would give another element to overlapping with different shapes and textures. So I'm going to keep going, we'll see how I go. Yeah, let's see. Done. You can see it's starting to fill in, and I think if I take my marker and I start to draw in some of those segmented shapes, so I've got this little star bit here, and I could start to draw in some of those segments. You can see it's really starting to look like the orange. So you can see now that our collage fruit is finished. This was taken from my own drawing based on this image. Just to refresh and remind you, you can either get the students to remember to use an already pre-made outline so they can start to add their different coloured lining into already made ones, different coloured lines, different coloured papers. Or you could already have an image and they start to use the colours from the magazines overlapping on top of an already printed image. I think all of these concepts would work. It's just making sure that the students are drawing fruit or shapes of fruit big, and then we can start to detail with a permanent marker at the end of it, as long as they're segmenting different sections with different colours. So that's a really important step, really important to explain. This is going to take, I imagine, maybe 3-4 weeks going over into the next half term. So we would love to get backgrounds on these, but we'll start here, and if we have time we can work at collage backgrounds, but otherwise they look really effective. Good luck, have fun!